The weather has been absolutely wild. It's been raining for days. We've got inches of rain, but now the sun is shining. So I'm going to try to take advantage of this day as much as I possibly can before it starts raining again tomorrow. Welcome back to the Backyard Food Project, where we are making some serious progress getting our garden ready to start producing some real food this spring. And this episode, we have to take advantage of as much time as we can today as possible because it's going to be raining again for the next 5 days straight. So let's throw up the scoreboard. This is what we've gotten accomplished so far, but there is still a lot to do. So today I want to focus on starting some more seeds, introducing a very exciting announcement, getting our soil ready for plants, and we'll see what else we can fit in. It's real. It's real. Oh, I've been working on something behind the scenes for quite some time now, and it's here. You probably caught my little hint in last episode, but TriSynergi, my fertilizer, my specifically curated fertilizer, and I am so excited for this. I worked with professionals in the field of biologicals to develop this fertilizer. So not only does it have a mixture of organic and premium micro and macronutrients, it's also full of biological life that is going to supercharge your soil. Everything starts in the soil. If we feed the soil, we're going to feed our plants and we are going to have a thriving garden. So let's get it in the ground. Gah! And if you were wondering, no, I did not just make this for me. You can get this for your own gardens as well, and I'll put a link down in the description. I am so excited to be the one to be able to curate this and provide this for so many people because I have been using a very similar blend in my garden for the last 2 years, and I will let the results speak for itself. Making good soil, providing good food for your vegetable garden is essential. And this year is just going to be the icing on the cake. So my recommendation is 4 cups of fertilizer for 25 square feet, which is about one of these garden beds. And this is going to feed this garden bed for the whole spring season. So I'm going to fertilize it. I'm going to put my plants in. I will not fertilize this garden bed again until I put in a new round of plants. Growing a good garden does not have to be difficult, and it shouldn't be. With this blend, I wanted to get away from having to apply a fertilizer like once a month. People don't have time for it. They're gonna forget. And I rather create something that I could put down one time that is going to provide a consistent amount of food for the whole season. So why play games if you don't have to? And it turns out you don't have to because a lot of fertilizer brands are in business to make money. I'm in the business of growing a better garden, and that's exactly what I'm providing you as well. So I've got 2 cups right here about, and what I want to do is just sprinkle this evenly along my garden bed. So this is going to take, because I've done this, I already know, I'm going to do 2 cups on this side here. Look at that. And it's just a light, even layer dusting. And we're going to do 2 cups over here. And we will be done fertilizing our garden bed for a whole round of plants. I guess we're not technically done because I don't want to leave this fertilizer on the soil surface. I want to scratch it in because we've got microbes that are dormant in here and we want to get them incorporated into the soil and we want to get them to start working. So I'm just gonna scratch this in to the soil here. And one of the ingredients in this fertilizer blend is also going to help break down anything that's decaying in our soil. If you didn't know this, a little bit of composting does happen inside of our soil. And the act of composting actually pulls some of the nutrients that are in the soil to be used during the composting process, like nitrogen, and it's locked up from our plants until that process is complete. So if we have any decaying roots, leaves, twigs, whatever gets introduced into our garden soil, our microbes are going to focus on breaking that stuff down. And in order to break that stuff down, they need nutrition. So we actually have some ingredients in here that help to efficiently break down that rotting and decaying matter inside of our soil, so that way it can be used by our plants more efficiently and it's not locking up nutrients into the soil. Like this old plant right here. Another huge advantage of using biologicals and a blend of premium natural and organic ingredients is that it makes it extremely difficult to over fertilize, because the biology that lives in our soil and as well as our soil structure help to control how our fertilizer is distributed to our plants. Unlike synthetic fertilizer, where plants can absorb that immediately, all of these natural ingredients have to get broken down by the biology in the soil before it can actually go and feed your plants. That's why creating healthy soil is so important, so that way this can happen. So by mixing in topsoil, compost, and perlite, we're creating the proper environment for these microbes to break down these nutrients in order to feed our plants. It is the perfect trinity, and hence TriSynergi. So if you want to experience the benefits of using biologicals in your garden, I will put a link down in the description. And I just want to say thank you so much for supporting our small business. And I truly cannot wait until you see the results that you are going to have in your garden. The soil's ready, which means we're ready to plant some plants, right? Well, not quite. I'd be fooling you if I told you that we could just plant our plants right in the ground. This is what you should be doing first. I just love the seed starting station. Vigo did such a good job. But our plants have been indoors being babied since we planted them in the ground. So if we just take them outside, plant them in the garden, and expect them to thrive, we're already losing. The first round of plants that are going to be going in my garden are ones that are hardy to some cold, can withstand some frost, like cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, arugula, and there's a few more. But the process is still the same, and we want to use what is called hardening off. This means the exact opposite of what I just explained. We're not going to just take our plants and plop in the soil. We want to slowly integrate them to life outdoors, so that way they can get used to the wind, the rain, the temperature changes in spring. I mean, it was 29 degrees this morning. It's hanging out in the 50s right now, and soon it's going to get a lot harder and it could even freeze. So our plants need to be able to handle that before they go in the ground. Otherwise, they're going to go from looking beautiful like this to being wilted and dead in a matter of potentially hours. Well, the sun is setting for me right now because that's just how things work out. But the first day that I put my seedlings out, I'll leave them exposed to the elements, basically where they're going to be in my garden, for about 1 to 2 hours. And then I'll bring them inside. And every day after that, I will bring them outside for an additional hour, so that way they can just start to get used to the conditions that they're going to be in. and then after they're outside all day long. So this process could take a week or two. That is when we actually want to take the step of planting them in the garden. And on the day that we do decide to plant, we don't want it to be too hot or too cold or too sunny or too windy. We're playing Goldilocks here. We want it to be just right. So pick a day that it's overcast, maybe even a little rainy, but not one where it's going to pour, because we want to plant these plants in the ground and for them to get settled in, not just get absolutely battered. Because the first thing that these plants are going to do is establish their root system. And if we put too much stress on the plant, when we plant them, they're just going to be in survival mode, and they're not going to be able to establish themselves in the ground before they can actually begin to grow. The soil's ready. Our plants are hardening off. I think it's time to prune some fruit trees. These buds are juicy. Time to prune. This is our peach tree that we planted, I think, 2 falls ago, and it's looking really good. My thought was to train it to these 3 main leaders right here, and right here. So almost all the rest is coming off. The first thing that I'm gonna do is just get rid of all of these extra branches, because I want this peach tree to have a nice open center. So this right here is gonna go, and that, and that. This is gonna go quick. And the main reason to prune right now is because pruning actually creates hormonal changes in the tree. And before these buds pop open is the right time. I've been hesitant to prune this tree because we've been getting a ton of rain recently. I physically have not been able to prune it. And we're also going to be getting rain in a couple days, but these buds are just so fat. They're about to pop, and I want to make sure that I do this before then. Because if I don't, the growth patterns are going to be completely different, and it might affect the tree's growth because it's so young. Now is the time where I really want to focus on making sure that I'm taking care of this tree to get it to grow into the main shape that we want. We've got our 3 main branches, 1, 2, 3, that I established. And I don't want these all competing on the same branch right here. So even though these look nice and strong and established, they're going. We'll get rid of these ones first. This one too. And I can understand why pruning a tree for the first time can be intimidating, because that probably seems really bad, but at the end of the day, it's going to help the tree overall. And it's also going to help us control its size, which is just as important. Because if a tree is too large for you to manage, how are you going to keep it healthy? Look how much more open the center is already. Now that I've finished all of my thinning cuts, which is basically removing a branch at where it starts, I'm going to do my heading cuts to keep the size of the tree down and basically keep all of this around the same size. Like if I were to put a ball in the middle of the tree, I don't want any of these branches sticking outside of that ball, because that's going to distribute the energy equally throughout the tree, and it's going to grow in a really nice and strong configuration. For example, if we look at this branch right here, it's the tallest branch, which means all of the energy is going to get focused on this section right here. So I want to bring this down. I also can't really reach the top, so if this gets any taller, I'm not going to be able to manage this without the ladder, and that's not what I want. I want to keep this branch growing out in this direction, so I'm going to look for a bud that's facing this direction, which is right here, and I'm going to prune right above it, so the end of my pruning cut is right in the middle of that bud. There we go. Rinse and repeat. So this is everything that I took off, and our tree is going to be so much healthier because of it. Our peach tree is looking really good, and we got some peaches off of it last year, and now that it's a few years old, I'm really excited to see what it's going to put out this year. But now that the pruning's done, let's check on the greenhouse. I'll admit, I really wanted to finish the greenhouse this week, but we have gotten so much rain, and I purchased some polymeric sand, which is used to actually fill the joints between the flagstone. So the floor needs to be dry, free of debris. And then when I put the polymeric sand in, where I'll basically just sweep it into the joints, I've got to water it to get it to activate. And then it needs a dry curing time. Oh man, this project has taken me so much longer than I originally thought. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this greenhouse floor done in a weekend. It's like 4 weeks later, and now we're just waiting on weather. Well, the sun is setting on what I would say is a pretty productive day. The soil's ready, our plants are hardening off, we've got more seeds in the ground. I got to prune a couple of our fruit trees, but the greenhouse still isn't ready. It's funny how I always revert back to the negative thing, but we got so much done today. So let's throw up the scoreboard to see just how much we accomplished. But everything that we did, we are just one step closer to get our garden producing some real food this spring. And if you like what we are doing so far here on our backyard homestead, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment. It shows YouTube that we're actually doing a good job. You're getting a ton out of our videos, and I can't wait to see you next time.